Hi everybody, I'm Seb for CG Tots. Today I will show you how to make an Xpresso drive-in clock. We will first model it, then light it, and after that we'll go through all the Xpresso stuff. So let's start with a new file. We will first make a cylinder. We will model almost all of the clock out of this cylinder. We will give it an 8 of 10 centimeters and zoom on it by pressing S, and we will then make it editable. Go to our top view, zoom on it, and we will take our selection tool, check only select visible elements, and select all the top polygons. After that, we will extrude inner and make another extrude. Alright, so now we can already put it inside an hyperNURBS, so we can see what it will look like at the end. Now it's not really cool. And you might have noticed that only the inner edges have been smoothed, like not this one and not this one. So why is it so? It's because in Cinema4D it's kind of weird, but when you convert it to an editable object, I think it does that with the cone also, it kind of breaks it apart. So if we turn off the hyperNURBS and we select polygon from the top view, I will show you what it does. So we can just grow our selection U and Y, and if we move that up, it kind of detaches from the rest of the object, and that's not what we want. So let's go into point mode and select all. And what we want to do is right click and optimize. You can just keep it as it is and click OK. So now if you go back to polygon selection, this is much better. And if you turn on the hyperNURBS, now it behaves correctly and it makes it look like a weird kind of pizza. So we will need to add some more edges to our object. Alright, so we will shrink that selection, UK, and we will want to use the extrude inner tool again, and we will make just a little extrude inner, so both of the loops will stay really close from each other. So now if we turn on the hyperNURBS again, the smoothing here is way better. We will now do this in the bottom as well using UB, the ring selection. We'll go in segment mode, select that ring, and we will connect them. And just a tip, if you model really often, the connect tool is really a useful tool, and there's no default shortcut for it. So if you want to add your own shortcut, you can. You just go into layout and command manager or shift F12, and you make a search for connect, and it's this one, and you just put your own shortcut. I use Alt C personally. So there we go. UL for selecting that loop. I'm gonna get it up a bit, and UB will connect this one also. We'll take this one and put it more in the bottom. Alright, and then we will add the volume here, so the lighting will look better. So we will connect those edges, select that loop, and we will bevel it, so it will double just like that. Check how it looks. Alright, and we will want to connect those as well. Alright, and we will select this loop and bring them up, and select this one and bring it down. Check out how it looks. Alright, now what we might want to do is take both of these loops and bevel them also, so they won't get smoothed too much. Alright, and the curve, the inside curve is too wide for me personally, so we'll go in top view to see it better, and we will deselect both of these loops. Oh, sorry. We'll just reselect these loops and we will scale them down so they will come closer to this one, and we'll also scale this one a little bit so it gets back in the middle. Alright. Okay, so now we'll put some materials on it before we keep on modeling. It's not really a material tutorial, so I'll be really brief. We'll just put a dark, almost black color with some reflections, maybe a Fresnel texture, and mixed strength about 20, something like that for the outside of the clock. So let's select those polygons. Well, we'll select the inner, the center of it, and it'll be easier after that. Alright, we'll duplicate that material and make a white version of it, and put that onto the selected polygons. Oh, we forgot that loop of polygons, so we'll delete the polygon selection. We will grow a selection, it was UI, and we will set selection and put that selection inside the material. We'll now, to put all black, we'll just invert the selection. Alright, and put the black on. We will now make the clock hands and the pivot in the center of the clock. So let's start with the pivot. We'll hide that and create a new cylinder. We'll give it a radius of 5 and a height of 3, or no, 3.5. That'll be better. Anyway, it'll be really small, so we'll just make it really quick. We'll convert it to an editable object. We'll optimize it because we'll have the same problem we had. Optimize. Okay. All right. Now let's go inside view. We'll go in edges mode, and we will take that selection tool and tolerance section. Excellent. We'll select that. We will connect it. Select that loop. We will bevel it. Alright. We will select that ring, bevel it. And maybe we can go to normal view. Select that loop. We will scale it down. We will let's see inside of an hyperNURBS. Oh, that's what we want. Okay, so we're having like the those ugly things happening. So let's add some more edges. We'll go in tab view. Whoops. Selection tool. We will take the polygon tool, polygon selection tool, sorry, and we will extrude inner just like that, and maybe move it up a little bit. Alright. Since our clock hands will move on that part, we might want it to be not that much smoothed. So let's take that loop. We'll go in edges section mode. We'll bevel that loop again. Alright, just like that. and select that polygon ring and scale that down just a little bit. Now we will give it the little curving inside on top of it. So we will loop select those polygons and we will extrude inner. Alright, maybe to about that size. We'll make an extrude and we will scale it down that way. Alright, and let's use the segment selection tool, sorry. And oh no, finally we'll take a loop selection of polygons here and make another extrude inner. Yeah, just like that, and move it up. Now the only thing we'll have to do is get rid of that problem of bad smoothing. So we will just take that loop here. Oh, go in edges mode first. And we will scale that down, not that much, and move it down. So it will get really close from the other loop. So now it's much better. Yeah. Alright. So now we have that. Let's put it on our clock. It's a tad too big, I think. Alright, scale it down, scale it down, scale it down. Now we'll give our pivot the same material we gave to the outside of our clock, and the same material we will give to our clock hands. And I think it's okay for the pivot. We can now rename those layers. Not clack, but clock, indeed. And pivot. Okay, we're now ready to model our clock hands. We'll first make a cube. And we'll get that down to about 1.8 to maybe 1.8 as well, and let's say 35. Get it up. We'll convert it to an editable object and scale it down also. Okay, let's get it down from here. It's better. Okay, we'll move it by using this tool. Let's go in our tab view first and zoom out. Alright. So now what we want to do is take our object axis right here, where's the pivot. So when we'll rotate it, it won't do stupid stuff like that, and we'll rotate around our pivot. So how do we do that? In the smart way, we will just take the object axis tool, click structure, axis center, and axis center, and now what you want to do is click auto update, and if you play with that, you'll see it moving in real time. So you'll want to put your Z to -100 and don't move the keep the Y and the X at 0%. Alright, so now it's perfectly placed. Don't move that, move the object. Alright. Now, we'll just scale that down like this a bit, and we'll add some cool curves in it, so the lightning will be more beautiful, because we like beautiful things. Alright, we'll just hide the pivot and our clock so we can see better what we're doing. Let's hide that and hide that. Good. We'll use the ring selection again on the edge axis tool, the edge tool, sorry. We'll connect them. We will go in the front view. We'll select that edge. Oh, that edge. And we will move it that way. Alright, and also we might want to take that edge and move it up just a little bit so the lightning will get some cooler reflections and everything. Now let's zoom out of it. First we'll get back our clock and our pivot. We'll zoom out. I think the clock hand is a little too thick, so let's squeeze it up on that axis. Okay, I think it's better. Now we'll just give it the same material we gave to the outside of our clock and our pivot. Good, good, good. Okay, so we'll call that clock hand minutes. And we will duplicate it. Call that one hours. And we may want to rotate it to see what we're doing. Go in our tab view. And we might want to scale the 8 down. Alright. It's now starting to look like a real clock. Now what we'll need to add is our little squares for the hours. Little rectangles, I mean. So let's first make a cube and scale it down, of course. 2, 2, and 2. I like 2. It's a good number to start an object. So let's move it up. Alright. We'll flatten it and zoom on it. We'll go like this and go in our tab view. We'll take that cube and move it up here. We'll go in our normal view. Zoom out just a bit. And it's okay to make it enter inside of our clock, but you might also want it just on top. So we go in our side view. We'll zoom on it again. Unzoom just a little bit, and we will line it up perfectly. Alright. And you might want also to scale it up that way. Good. I think now our clock hands aren't lined up perfectly. Oh no, they're not. And neither is our pivot. So let's take all of that down. The pivot is okay to be inside of the clock, but not our clock hands. We don't want it to get inside of our clock. Alright. Now what we'll do is put that cube inside of a cloner object so we can get 12 of them and control them more easily than copying in. We will first... Okay, let's make this radial, and let's put the XZ axis. Now we'll lower the radius. We'll first line it up. So you just come here and copy that. Put a 0 back here and come here and paste it. Alright, so now instead of having our cube lined up with our clock, our cloner object is lined up with our clock. You can go check in the side view, it's perfect. Alright, and now we have 12 hours in a day, so let's put 12. Let's see that better. Alright, and you can keep your hours like that, but you can also uncheck the align and we'll have it like that. So that's your choice. You make your clock like you want it. We may just want to put like 39 here to give more space. Good. Also give this cloner object the same material we gave to our clock hands. And now I think we're ready to get inside of what I think is the fun part of this tutorial, which is all the Xpresso stuff that will make our clock hands move magically. So let's right click on hours and click on Xpresso. There we go, Xpresso editor, where all the magic will happen. Let's first right click and go inside of Xpresso General and Time. Also, we will go into New Node, Xpresso General, and Object. It automatically takes the object that we have selected, but you can always, you can always come and click on it and drag something else in here. So there you go. So we will click like that, basic property, and we're going to coordinate, global rotation, and global rotation H. And now what will happen? Oh my god, it's already moving. Now of course we will want it to rotate in a clockwise way, and now it's rotating reverse clockwise. So what we'll have to do is take that link off and make a mat tag, and we will link the time with the input and take the output and put it here. And the only thing we'll have to do is come down here, and we want it real, and we want it to multiply and -1. So what it will do, it will just reverse the rotation. Alright, so now we will also want to our minutes to move. So let's go take our object over here, up, and we will drag minutes here. Alright, and how will we make this one move? We will output something from hours, which will also be our global rotation H, and we can always put it here, but then they will rotate right at the same time. But so what we'll also want to put is a mat again. Link that here and link that here to global rotation H, but into our mathematics we'll make a multiply of 6. Alright, let's test that out. Good. Now we may think it's a little bit too fast, so what we will do is make a we will use the user data. So we'll first make a null object, alright, that we will call time controller. You could always put the user objects on the hours or wherever, but I think it's more logic to have it on a null object that will control all your user data. So we'll click here, add user data. We'll name that time speed, and we'll come here and change it to real. Now we will want our step to be lower because 1 will be way too much and will affect too much our time speed. So let's put 1,01, 0,01. Sorry. We want to limit our minimum and limit our maximum, and let's put -3, and over here let's put 3. Of course you can play with that if you want it to be slower or faster, but anyway. And default value you might want to put 1. So okay. Also we will add another user data right now, so we won't have to come back here. We'll add our time start. Let me explain. If of course you can do it in another way, like if you want to start your animation with your clock hands here, you could start rendering it at frame 36. But if you have like a complex setup with cameras and I don't know, whatever, and you really want it to start at this time, you might want to have more control over it and use user data for that. So time start, we'll do almost the same thing, put real here, We'll put 0.0 on here as well. We will limit the minimum, limit the maximum, and here we will come and put 0 and 12. Okay. Let's go back to the beginning. We'll open up the Xpresso manager, editor, sorry. Now, what we want to do is come here, because that's all here, it'll happen. Remember that map multiply was the one with -1, so we could reverse it. So we will want to put our new user data here. So let's break that, create a new object, and come here, object. We will take our time controller, we will click here and go right in the bottom, user data, click on time speed, and we'll also create right now the other one, object, time controller, and user data, time start. Okay, so first we will still need mathematics, calculate math. Alright, first we'll go with the time start. You put one here and one here, and you keep it to real and add, and put that here, and our time start should already be working. So let's test that out. Good, excellent. So you right click on it to make it back to 0. You will want to make a new, again, a new mathematics. Mathematic. You will take the output of this one, put it in the first input, and put your time speed here, and take the output there, and of course you will put a multiply. So what it will do, now let's see it at this speed, and now if you come here and play with this, there you go. You can also put a -2 if you want to reverse time or something, whatever. Let's put that back to 1. So there we've got it, a working clock, only with Xpresso. There's no keyframe, and you can all manage it here for your animation and stuff. And also what is cool, if we'll take that back to 0, and you can keyframe your time speed. So let's put a tree here. Okay, make a keyframe. So now you'll see the time accelerating. With some motion blur, that can be really cool. In the render, you've seen in the preview for this tutorial, I used the Grayscale Gorilla lightning kit, which I think is really great for that kind of lightning of one single object and simple stuff like that. So here's the setup. I have a softbox here, I have a ring light, and I also have a kind of, I don't know how to call that, but that kind of thing that reflects light. And my camera, before I moved it, was basically around something like that. But now it's far, far away. Okay, good. It was keyframe. Excellent. So it's this way. Now, some other way you can do it is, we'll come back to our tutorial, is let's first create a good camera. Alright. And let's move it this way. And by the way, on camera, if you don't want to do what I did on my other file, you just have to come here and put a protection on it. Now, if you want to move, you can't. Alright, so let's get out of our camera. Now, basically, just a ring of basic lights would already do a good job. So let's put that light inside of a cloner object. call that ring light. Of course, it's not as sophisticated as what you'll have inside of the Grayscale Gorilla lightning kit, but at least you can achieve some pretty cool lightning just with that basic rig. So you want to augment the radius, you want to have a floor, you'll want to have a sky, and on your sky you will want to put an HDRI. I like this one. Now come to your light, you want to lower that, put some soft shadows, and let's bring that up a bit. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so we can see our reflections are way too bright. So let's come here and give it blurriness, but watch out with blurriness because it really gets your render time higher. Let's give it a 10. Okay, first we'll come here and put some anti-aliasing. Best still image, alright. Okay, so there it is. Our shadows may be a little too dark, and I think we will lower the light shadows, but put some ambient occlusions. So we will have more shadows in the angles and more shadows around our clock hands. So let's try that. Shadow, we'll put it to I don't know, maybe 50, and come here, effect, ambient occlusion. Yeah, let's try it like that. As you can see, our shadow looks way better already. I still think it's a little bit too dark, but I won't go really into the details of lightning and shadows and stuff in that tutorial, because I think we've done enough with that clock, and it was mostly about doing it in Xpresso and modeling it. So I hope you guys liked that tutorial. I'm Seb for CG Tuts, and I'll see you next time.